Hey guys, welcome to the channel. I'm going to go over an app called iReal Pro. Really good app to practice to improvise over chord changes, bass lines, any kind of improvisation thing. Part one is going to be the basics so you can get up and running. Part two is going to get into editing and sharing files and things like that. One note to PC users, this is really only made for Mac right now, but there is an emulator plugin you can use that I read online about. So you can download that and probably use it with your PC computer as well. Okay, anyway, Happy New Year, guys, and I'll see you soon. Okay, guys, welcome back. This is part two to look at iReal Pro, some of the finer details that you can tweak. And let's start with, let's go to preferences really quick. Actually, let me open up a song first. See all the things you are. Okay. And if we go to preferences, a couple things here. Transposing instrument, that's if you play, let's say you're a sax player and you play B flat sax or horn player, or E flat. This is just a way to transpose to that. So universally, it's a universal transposition for all the songs. If you play guitar, bass, you have nothing to worry about, or piano, just keep it on C. This is minor symbol for the symbol for minor chords. And if you notice here on this F minor 7, some people write it with a small m like that. And that's just a preference thing. I kind of like it both ways. It doesn't really bother me. I kind of went with the minus symbol because that's the way I generally like to see it. But, either way is fine. This can get confusing because sometimes people write an M for major, and they don't do it properly. They use a small m, so it's kind of confusing. So I usually just use the minus symbol, even when I handwrite charts. This is the position. This is red right now. I think it's probably yellow normally, but this is just basically where the player is going. So if I start playing the song, okay, you can see that the cursor for the chord is in red. Well, you can change that to any color you want. Well, not any color, but now it's yellow. Okay. Or you can have it off. So whatever works for you. I kind of like it red because the reason I like it red is because I tend to I like this sort of sepia or for the background, and I'll show you what I'm talking about, because you can have it the complete inverse. You can have this if you'd like a night mode sort of thing. And the iPhone app and the iPad app automatically do this. You just go to night mode. This is nice if you're on stage, you're doing a jazz gig, or whatever gig you're doing. And as you can see, you can use this app to just put pop tunes or whatever you need, to just cover stuff in whatever key you need, and which is really nice. But in this case, like if you're on stage, you can have it in dark mode like this, so that there isn't so much light hitting your face when you're reading the music, and you can be a little more stealth about it. But generally I have it, and I'll show you I'm going to go back now to the way I had it before. So so the other way I would do it is I'd start with the background color, and I kind of like sort of a sepia, but that's a little too bright. And then what I do is I tweak it up a little bit by kind of, you can do it either way. I kind of do it with this one like this. Of course, the font is all off now, so let's go back. Make the font text color black. And again, I'll just tweak it. I like it just a little like that. That works for me. Of course, you can just have it white. You can have it any way you want. Now, highlight rehearsal symbols. Rehearsal symbols are this little A, like letter A, letter B, letter C. The fact that it's in 4/4. And here you would have it just black and white. And the only reason I think I would have it like this is if I'm going to print this out, because I'll get into that a little bit later, but you can actually send this as an audio file. You can send it as a chart to somebody else in the band, or you can just, you know, if you want a paper copy instead of, let's say some of the guys in the band don't have iPads, or you just want to do it on paper, you can send this out. And I'll get into that very shortly. Let's finish what we're on though. Theme here is dark. You can have it lighter on your system or darker. Depends also on your operating system. I'm 1014 on here. I know on 1013 I couldn't do that. They updated the program, and for some reason you can't switch that unless you're at least at 1014. Chord scales. This is kind of interesting because let's say we play this song, All the Things You Are, and you want to see the chord symbols for this, okay? And I'm going to open this up so you can, so the chord diagram, chord scales, okay. Well, right now it's in treble clef. Yeah, I'm a bass player. I mean, I read both clefs, but yeah, I'm definitely more comfortable with bass clef. So if I wanted to just read it in bass clef, you'd switch this over. So bass players, you probably want to do that just automatically, just put it in bass clef. And this way you can see the chord, what makes up that chord in bass clef as well, which is nice. And what else do we have here? Right-handed guitar or left. That's for the chord symbols, the chord diagrams, sorry. So if you're a guitar player, let's say, and you're looking at this particular chord, E flat 7, okay, that's right-handed, and left-handed, it's going to look like that. So that's just to help with that. I'm right-handed, and I'm going to keep it like that. This is the tuning, just in case. That would be if you're a piano player and your piano is tuned to 441 or 445 or whatever, or your piano's flat and hasn't been tuned in a while and you want to, you know, tune this up to that. That would be the way to do that. And this is to reset all the settings back to where it was. Okay. Audio is your system setting generally, or if you're using an interface, you'd switch that. This is the sync, which I kind of like. You can back up everything. This automatically does it, or you can just hit sync now. And then you can, you know, you do want to back up everything when you can. I have the iCloud sync, but you can also back it up like into a folder on your computer. So I can call it here and put it into documents, or I could put it into, you know, whatever I want to put it into, whatever folder on my computer, if you prefer to have a hard copy like that. The store. I bought the extra style, which was blues. So it came with all these kind of these grooves. So that's something to know about. I kind of like it. I think it's worth getting. I think it's kind of cool. There's some cool stuff, other hokey stuff, but you know, I think it's really important to play all these tunes different ways. I think you really learn the tune. This way it doesn't get stale. So this is, you know, this is straight ahead right now. What I mean by straight ahead is swing straight ahead. Now, if you go faster on it, it does play it differently, which is kind of nice. So that's just good to know also, because let's say you have it on up-tempo swing like this. It won't sound well. It won't sound right if you slow it down. Like here, it won't swing as much. The swing won't be right. So what you want to do then is, if you're going to slow it down a lot to practice it, pick a slow tempo. Like start with that, because the MIDI data that it's using is kind of based on that. So you know, slow swing. There you go. So now it's going to feel better. The subdivisions will be better. And it's closer to kind of what the drummer would probably play. So that's kind of a nice thing to know. Let's go to what I said before, sharing the chart. Okay. There are a couple ways to do this. If you go to the top right here, you'll see the arrow, and you can share just a chord chart, and that would be something that you would print out. It would be a PDF, and that works out really nice. Another way you can share is audio, and you have a couple different options here. You can send it as a MIDI file. So if someone, in fact, doesn't have a Mac or doesn't have I know there's a plugin that you can use with PC to still be able to use this on like a PC or Windows operating system. So there is a way to do it. But let's just say somebody just wants, they have a digital performer or some other MIDI DAW You could just send a MIDI file, and that would work out really well. You can send it as a WAV file, which is audio, but you won't be able to turn things up and down. You won't be able to mute the piano, that sort of thing. And then an AAC, which is max version of an MP3. Other things that you can do, you can also send the song itself in the format of iReal Pro. And the way that you would do that, let me get out of full screen here, is just take the song, whatever song you want, and just drag it onto your desktop. And now it's hidden somewhere here. Here we go. And now all you have to do is email that to whoever you need to email it to. And they will, you just attach this, or you can even message it, text it to someone. And when they double click this, this is what will happen. It'll ask if you want to import this. If I click that, you'll get that question that you get on the browser. And I'm not going to do that because I already have the song. So there you have it. All right. So that is the way you share on iReal Pro. Let's talk about editing a track, for instance. And if we get into editing the song, what I like to do is I'll make a duplicate, because sometimes you know, I want to change something, or I might want to change it, just have alternate chord changes that I prefer, let's say. So I would make a duplicate of this. So if I made a duplicate, it has a little 1 after it. And what I usually write, I'll just put Ric Edit, so that I know that I changed this. It's for a special gig, or it's a special version of it, or whatever like that. And then I'll go in here and edit it. And let's talk about editing and actually writing chord changes and stuff like that as well. I'm going to start with a blank, though. I'm going to go here, and let's say we're going to actually write a song and put something in there new. Now, you could go blank, and you'd have to actually put everything in. And, you know, what I do is I just kind of do it like this, and go click it about 4 times there, and you go to the next measure. You can do it like that. If you don't want to do that, an easier way to do it, to start with their little templates that they have, you know, just depending on what your form is. I don't get too crazy with the form on this. I might not even use it like this, and I'll show you, I'll give you a reason right now. I'll show you what I do. Let's say I'm going to write a little progression here, and I'm going to type this in C minor. I use the minus symbol, C minor 9, okay. Let's say I want to go up to E flat, make it minor 7, okay. And I want to go over here, and I want to type in F sharp, let's say. So you're going to write, and when you're keying these in, you don't have to put capitals. It's you can just put small f, and then I put a sharp. You know, I put shift, and then above 3 there, you give it a sharp. And that could be major 7. It's shift, and that little arrow thing that goes up looks like a 6. That's what it looks like over here if you look over where my cursor is. So that's how you kind of do that. And let's say it was going to be a 13 chord, I would just write in 13 there. And let's say the last chord is going to be B major 7. And I'll put a 9 on there. Okay. So let's say you want to change something. Let's say you want to just change it to this dominant chord. Now you can just pull down here if you'd like. So let's say you want to make it F sharp 7, for instance. This is like pretty much, they cover a lot of the things here. And let's say I want to make it a flat 9. I would hit that. If I want to change something else, I can change something else here and make it a completely different chord. So basically, when you pull down here, let's make it an F sharp sus, for instance, like that. When you pull down here, you have all your different options, which is really nice. Let's make it an F sharp 7 sus. Okay, there you go. Now, where it says regular chord here, what that is, that's the regular chord. But let's say the second time around you want to use an alternate, or have them give them an option of either chord. So let's say I wanted a different chord there. Let's say I want to use a C7 altered. So I could put C alt like that, and I would get an alternate chord. And now when you look at it, you see there's an alternate on the top there. It's a little smaller font, which is nice. And it lets the player know you can use either chord, you know, or maybe you can say only on the second time you're going to do the top changes. You can do that too. whatever you want to do, basically, you can do with this. Now, let's say that's the whole tune, and I don't want to go any further, and I'm going to put a repeat, okay? And I want to get rid of all this. Well, you can sit here and do it, you know, delete slowly like that, but it's way faster to just kind of highlight everything and then just get rid of it. And I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm just going to highlight, okay? And now that would be the end of the song. That would be the whole thing, for instance. And now, if you want to put in text, like you put in over here, busy drums, let's say. Let's say you want a busy drum thing, or let's say you just want the groove to be straight eighths, okay? You just put eighths like that. You could do that if you wanted to. And then you can move it up and down. Or it can say bass solo, or it could say anything you want. It's just to add text. That's how you add text. You just highlight the area you want to add the text, and you write whatever you want to write in there. And then it would be there. And you can put it all the way at the top, or you can put it at the bottom, however you want to write it. The time signature is obvious. You know, you can make it whatever you want, wherever you want it. There it went on the cursor where I was. Of course, I don't want it there, so we're not going to do that. But if you wanted to change it over here, you would highlight where you are. So it's very friendly to move around this. It's very, very easy to do. Over here is what you're going to call the song. And let's just say this is new song 1 or whatever you want to call it. Unknown composer. So, you know, you can put your name there. And the style. Okay, the style, it defaults to medium swing. But let's say I want it to be like a reggae thing. I put reggae. The key signature, I don't mess around with this too much because there really isn't a need for that, because we're not actually reading notes. You know, so I just kind of keep it where I want to keep it. And in this case, it's going to be C minor. I don't even bother writing in there. You can do that if you'd like, but I don't really find a need for it. And when you're completely done, then you would come down here and close it. And you know, putting letters, like we don't have an extra line here, but you know, if you wanted to put a letter B somewhere, you would just put letter B like that. So it's pretty easy to do, and things will shift depending on where you put the cursor. First ending, same thing. If you want to put a first ending there, you'll be a first ending there, or you know, however you want, whatever you want to do actually is right here. Repeat marks, like let's say this B major 7 wasn't there. Let's just get rid of it, and we want to put a repeat instead, and that would mean you would play this chord twice. Okay, when you hear this, of course, you're not going to hear the C alto. You're always going to hear the F sharp 7 sus. So just make a note of that. And you can always do Apple Command Z if you want to go back to something. I want to get rid of that, so I just click it and I get rid of that first ending. If you want to put a coda, you can put a coda up there. Now this is interesting. Let's say you decide you do want to put something here, okay? Like another 4 measures. And you want to put let's say this is actually the coda that you're actually going to go to, okay? Well, it's kind of close together, so these little arrows over here will help you move it down into another section so that it looks like that. So now you're going to go to this coda section from here, and you have a little space in between. So that's really nice to have. I like that. Fermata is good if it's the last note of the chord, last chord of the tune. I'll put a fermata over it. That's really nice. So these are just little symbols. It's just basically wherever you put your cursor and you click on something, you're going to get that, whatever it is that you're looking for. It's a little limited, but it really does do a lot of things. It's kind of cool. And when you're done, you just push save. And oh, sorry, there's no chords over here, so it's not letting me push save. But so I'm going to have to get rid of all that stuff. And if I push save now, oh, name already in use. So it's nice to know. Okay. I'm putting trash test. Okay, save. That's done. Close. And now it looks like that. And if we want to play it, So that's what we have. And as you can see, I want to edit the song now. I want to get rid of bass solo. It's a short bass solo. So I just I highlight and then I erase the text over here. And that goes for anything. Like if I want to get rid of that eighth thing there, I see it might be shuffle eighths, or it's probably more appropriate. If I was going to write that there, I would probably put it on the top actually, like that. Just to give people an idea what the groove is, you know. In this case, I'm not going to write anything. I need to get rid of this coda. So just click the coda mark again. If I want to put my last name, that's easy to do. And then you push save and close, and there you have it. And if I was going to play it, I would probably make it look like that. It's huge, but there you go. And if I want to change the tempo, we've gone over that already. This is really good if you want to make your own exercises of chord progressions to work on. And I've done that in the past for sure. I've always done that even before computers. You know, I'd always make a tape or something of me playing bass chords, and I would just practice over it. And a lot of tunes that I've written have come out of these little practice things that I do. Okay, let's look at another tune. Yeah, this is good to know. So let's say you're going to do this chord here is D add 9 over F sharp. And the way that you do that, let's say I was going to do it here over C sharp, you just put a slash, you know, diagonal slash, and then whatever bass note you want, and that's how you get those. That's how you import those chords. Okay. In this case, you got an A repeating twice, and then B repeating twice, as you can see on the form. So that looks pretty nice. I don't want to do that, so I'm going to push Don't Save. And then we're back to the tune the way it is. This is a cool tune by Ivan Lins, and it's written wrong in iReal Pro, so I did this edit. That's why it says Ric Edit. It's not necessarily that the chords were wrong. It was the wrong key, but also what was wrong was that it was changing every chord measure, so I couldn't get the feel right. The feel that it's like a double time feel. So instead of doing double time feel, I just made the chords go twice as long to make it work. A couple more cool things in edit mode. Let's say you want to repeat a section. Instead of typing out the whole section again, like in other words, let's say you have an A-B-A form, I could just take this whole A section, copy it, and then paste it over here. And that's really convenient. Another thing to realize is if you want to put 4 chords together, let's say the next chord is A minor, and then we have B7, and then we have D7. You can do it like that. And of course, if these are moving by 2 beats, you'd have to move the cursor to the 3rd beat. So you have B1, B2, B3, B4. And there you could put your D7, let's say. I think I've covered most of the stuff that you're going to use. I don't think you're going to do anything more than that, really. The only thing I would say is sometimes they don't have the exact chord that I want, but it's pretty close. They have most of the things, and you'll see they're organized. Like here's the dominants are down here, and the minor chords and the major 7s are up here, and other things are up here. So they even have D2 and D5, which is really nice, which is basically it's D sus2. So when you see the word sus, that means there's no 3rd. Normally when you just see D sus like that, what they really mean is D sus4. So D, no 3rd, and a 4th is played instead of the 3rd. So it would be 1, 4, 5. Let's say in C would be C, F, and G. So D2 is a D sus2, which would be D, E, and A. And C would be C, D, and G. And D5 is just the root and the 5th. So just so you kind of know. Okay, I think this kind of covers everything. You know, have fun with this. And We're going to start hitting this stuff heavy, improvisation, different ways to play over chords, and understanding harmony. So if you can kind of just get your feet wet with this program a little bit, it's really going to help later so that you can make your own chord charts and also, practice things efficiently. Have fun with this, and I'll see you next time. Take care. Mullet!